Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We, Daga, from Triam Udom Suksa School. We are from M4. My name is Vijayat Phaka.
I'm ปุญญานุชบดินทร์ภักดีกุล
I'm กาญจนาพรแต้พันธุ์
I'm สุพิศราวรพิษพงศ์
and I'm นวลปรางสงวนศักดิ์
Today, we'll be performing Tyrannosaurus Drip. Hope everyone enjoy.
Tyrannosaurus Drip by Julia Donaldson and David Roberts.
In a swamp beside a river, where the land was thick with veg, lived a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs who roamed the water's edge, and they hooted,
Up with rivers,
woo! And they hooted,
up with reeds,
and they hooted,
up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds.
Now, across the Russian River on the hill the other side, lived a mean Tyrannosaurus with his grim and grisly bride. And they shouted,
Up with hunting!
and they shouted,
Up with war!
and they shouted.
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!
But the two Tyrannosauruses, so grisly, mean, and grim, couldn't catch the duck-billed dinosaurs because they couldn't swim. And they muttered,
Down with water!
and they muttered,
Down with
wet!
and they muttered.
What a shame that bridges aren't invented yet. Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, a little compsognathus, but for short we call her comp, found duck-billed egg and stole it from a nest beside the swamp. And she swam with it, and ran with it, and murmured,
Ha! Clever me!
and
Once baby comes with thrilled with duck-bill egg from...
She dropped the egg in terror and went running for her life from the mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim, grisly wife. And the duck-bill egg went rolling, and at last it came to rest. And of all unlikely places, the Tyrannosaurus nest.
Now, the mother T had great big jaws with great enormous legs, but her brain was rather little, and she couldn't count her eggs.
Egg number 1, 4, 2, 6,
Oh.
9.
And she sang,
Hatch out my terrors with your scary little tails and your spiky little tooties
Tooties!
and your scary little nails.
out hatched babies 1 and 2, as perfect as could be.
But Mother T was horrified by baby number 3, and she grumbled,
He looks witty.
and she grumbled,
He looks weak.
and she grumbled.
What long arms! And look, his mouth is like a beak.
He just need feeding up.
Said that and gave the babes some meat. The first two gulped and guzzled, but the third refused to eat. And he said,
I'm really sorry.
and he said,
I simply can't.
and he said,
This meat looks horrible. I'd rather eat a plant.
A plant?
yelled Mom in horror, and Dad said,
Get a grip!
his sisters found a name for him,
Tyrannosaurus Drip.
and they shouted,
Up with hunting!
and they shouted,
Up with war!
and they shouted.
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!
Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip tried hard to sing along, but the others yelled,
You silly Drip. You've got the words all wrong.
for he hooted
Down with hunting.
and he hooted
Down with war.
and he hooted.
Down with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur. Ew.
Drip sisters soon grew big enough to hunt with Dad and Mom. But they turned on Drip and told him,
You're not fierce enough to come.
And he cried,
They've gone without me.
and he cried,
I like a day.
and he cried.
This doesn't feel like home. I'm going to run away.
Bye. So he ran off to the river, where he saw a lovely sight. A herd of duck-billed dinosaurs, all hooting with delight. And they hooted,
Up with rivers.
woo! And they hooted,
Up with reeds.
and they hooted.
Up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds.
As he stood there on the bank, a sudden urge took hold of him, and he jumped into the water and discovered he could swim. And the duckbills came to greet him by the rushing river's edge, and they hooted,
Nice to see you.
and they hooted.
Have some veg. And Drip, who was delighted that they hadn't run away, ate bellyfuls of water weeds and played with them all day. Then he gazed into the river and said, Who is that creature in the water? And they all laughed and said,
It's you.
That night, the lightning crackled, and the storm blew down the tree, and it fell across the river, and the tees cried out,
Yippee!
and they shouted,
Up with hunting!
and they shouted,
Up with roar!
and they shouted,
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!
Drip's sister stepped onto the bridge, but then began to frown, for then in front of them stood Drip, who yelled,
Look out! Look down!
And they looked into the water, and they each let out a yelp. And one cried,
Water monsters!
and the other one cried.
Help! Their mother scolded, Nonsense! And she joined them on the tree. Then she looked into the water and exclaimed, Good gracious me! The three of them stood trembling, and Dad said,
Get a grip! You are all of you as drippy as Tyrannosaurus Drip.
He strode onto the bridge and scoffed.
I bet there's nothing there.
Then he looked into the water and he jumped into the air.
And how the duckbills hooted when he landed with a crash. And the tree bridge broke, and 4 tyrannosauruses went splash! And sputtering and clinging to the branches of the tree, they went whooshing down the waterfall and all the way to sea. And the duckbills hooted happily. They hooted,
Hip, 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 hooray! For the Herrick, one and only! Duckbill Drip! Yay!
Thank you very much.
I would like to invite one of our judges here to give a little comments or some advice for you guys. All right, so please, Miss Sue, please.
Thank you, Team Dacord. It's very difficult to go first, so well done. You did an excellent job. I thought you had a lovely performance there. You demonstrated great teamwork. I loved your facial expressions and your acting skills. You really made the story come alive for me. It was full of emotion. I thought it was wonderfully entertaining. It was a delight to listen to. You really made me smile, so thank you. You did a great job. Well done.
เสียงปรบมือด้วยครับ
ขอบคุณน้องๆมากเลยนะคะ
ขอบคุณ
เดี๋ยวตอน
มากๆ
นี้
นะครับ
ไปพักด้านล่างกันก่อนเลยนะคะสำหรับ
แล้ว
ทีมแรก
เริ่ม
ของ
รีแลกซ์ได้
เรา
แล้วเนอะ